What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Jamaal Abiade, and we're back again for yet another YouTube video. Today we're doing a very special tutorial. Yes, a very special. I'm gonna show you guys how to mix your beats and the basics to leveling. Yes, the very basics. I'm gonna get you guys down and ready to go. Things we struggle with and we play with and it takes hours and hours to do. But I'm gonna teach you guys how to mix your beats and shoot 30 minutes or less. And this video is gonna be quicker than that. But before we get into this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Actually, comment right now, like and comment right now. That helps my placement in the YouTube algorithm. Just an FYI, you guys, the beat that I'm mixing today will be available to listen to. And the link below is gonna be on my Type Beat page, Beats by Abiade. Yes, I have a Type Beats page. To get my Type Beats page to 500 subscribers, I will make a part 2 to this video mixing tutorial, getting more into depth of what I do to make my beats sound how they sound. And I'll drop another mastering video to show you guys how to fully master your beats from top to bottom. But look, you guys, enough of all that talk. I'm about to show you guys how to mix a beat and have it ready for your producers, rappers, YouTube, or wherever you want to put your beats. It's gonna be ready for it. All right, let's get into it. Cheer. I heard this from one of the top producers. He said, you can't have a tutorial how to mix. This is how I mix. Yes, this is how I mix my steps, my method to how I mix it, the sound I like. The way you develop a method of mixing, you have to be consistent, you have to put up music, and you have to try different things. I got this method from trying a whole bunch of different things, you guys. There's a lot of mixing tutorials out there, and it shows you too much. You can never learn that way. You're switching the EQs of every drum and all that kind of stuff. Look, you guys, if you have to do too much with the EQs, you're probably not using the right sounds, all right? And this is not the tutorial how to be the best mix engineer ever. This is how to make a beat that's leveled correctly and sounds good, so you can get out to artists. You can put it on YouTube, you can put it on your BeatStars, whatever you want to put it, and make money, okay? Because most of the times when you get to a professional artist and a professional placement artist, their mix engineer is going to mix it again. When I do buy beats from other producers, I mix it over. I want to make it sound how I sound. Because with that being said, let's get into this video, how to mix. Let's get it. If you look into my Logic file, it's really simple. It's only 10 tracks, and all of them are at 0. I make sure all of them at 0. Every single track is at 0, okay? Step 1 to mix a track. Make sure you have quality sound. If you're using a bad drum kit or you're making a bad snare or a flat snare, it's not how much mixing and EQing and compressing you can do to make a bad sound good. So step 1, make sure you have good sounds. Literally, if you have bad sounds, it doesn't matter how great of a mixer you are. Step 2, make sure your master right here is always at 0. Make sure it's always at 0, and make sure it never goes past -3 dB. So I'm gonna play this out loud. Everything's at 0 right now. It's gonna be too high. It's gonna clip. I know it is. So look, as you can see, it's clipping. When you're mixing, you don't want your master to ever go past -3. You want to sit in between. You don't want to be lower than -6. And you don't want to be higher than -3, okay? Between -6 and -3, that's where you want your master to sit when you're doing your mix, okay? So I usually go to the loudest part of the beat. It's all about leveling, man, leveling. I promise you, your beats can be fixed by leveling. You don't need extra compressor and side chaining for the kicks and 808s, all that crazy stuff. Get your leveling straight. Make sure every instrument sits in the right place in your beat. And I promise your beats will sound 100% better. So work on your leveling. Try different things. But I'm going to show you my tricks and my tips that I use, okay? Remember, the master never wants to be over -3 and never want to be lower than -6. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in order. This audio track right here, this is my sample. I'm mixing in order what I'm going to mix my instruments in. So sample first. I'm going to put my kick next. My 808 next. Then I'm going to do my bass. So this is my kick. I'm gonna name it for you guys. This is my kick, 808, bass. I'm gonna be my snare, my clap. This is my hi-hat, boom, open hat, and all this down here. These are my perks. It's a scratch, and this is brass stab. Actually, I'm gonna bring my brass stab up to right here. The first thing I always mix my melody first. I always mix my melody first every time. There's no right or wrong way to mix. It's basic rules. One of the basic rules that everybody, when you're mixing your song, have it between -6 dB and -3 dB on the master, which is this. Never let this part go past -3 dB, this right here. Why do you do that? Because you can always turn the song up in the master. So make sure you're mixing this between -6 dB and -3 dB so you can turn it up in the master without clipping. Let's start it. First I'm gonna do is a sample. All right, so if you look at the sample, if I look at the sample, it's already playing, it's at 1.9. I usually have my main leads at -11 dB, and it leaves a lot of room for my drums and my kicks and my 808s, because I want my kicks and my 808s loud. So let's turn that down.
All right, it's a -9.8. I want it closer to 11, so I turn it down a little lower. And I'm actually gonna, this part's louder, so I'm actually gonna do this part. I'm cool with that. -11, I'm cool with that. And as you see, this is -11 right here, and the master is -11. So the point of mixing is you want to stack all these sounds up so the master never goes above -3 dB. That's the key to leveling. Leveling is key to mixing. You want to put all these instruments on top of each other and make them sit correctly so it make a perfect cake. So you're just putting all these parts to sit correctly. The next part I do is my kicks and my 808. If the kick's not banging, it's not a song. You know, the kicks and 808s have to bang in rap songs. You guys know that. The kick and 808s have to go crazy. So let's do the kick next. So obviously the kick is too loud. It's at 2 point. Look, as soon as the kick dropped, it's already barely clipping. So we're gonna turn this down. I like my kick pretty loud. So first thing I do is I'm gonna bring it down. My kick is always louder than my melody. And actually, instead of turning my kick up louder, I'm actually gonna pull my melody down because it does the same thing. You guys, if you guys want something louder, you don't always have to make that instrument louder. You can bring everything else down. So that's what I'm doing. I brought my melody down a little bit. And another thing, besides the masters, don't copy my dBs of my instruments. Like, don't copy, oh, he has this at -11. Like, every instrument's different. Just see where I'm putting everything. Okay, he has that melody at kind of low. He has the kick kind of higher. Copy the method and concept of what I'm doing. Don't copy the dBs word from word because it's not going to sound the same because these are different instruments we're using. Next is the 808. Bring the 808 in. The 808 is always going to be lower. It can be up to 6 dBs lower than the kick, honestly. See how loud the 808 is? So I'm going to bring that all the way down. All right, now. Yeah, that sounds good. Another thing I do too is I go to my audio units. I go to utility, I go to gain, stereo, and I turn mono on because I put my kicks, my 808s, boom, and my bass in mono because there's no need for those things to be in stereo. And you see, okay, so all three of these playing together, you see it's 6.6, so we're still good. So next I do the bass. I do my kicks, 808 bass next because we want those to hit hard. Too loud. Turn that down. I like this. Next I have is I'm gonna skip this brass. I'm gonna go right to the snare. I like my snare almost allows my kick. I feel like the snare is like the anchor. So I'm gonna make it a little lower than my kick though. Don't make it the same as the kick. So my kick's at like a 8.99 dB, -9 dB. I'll make it around like a -11 when it comes to the clap. Around. So now the snare, look, I'm looking at the snare. I look at the EQs. This is the time to mess with EQs. This is all you have to do with EQs. You don't have to do anything extra. So see, it didn't even change the sound of the thing. So I just took out the low EQ so the kick and the 808 can have somewhere to sit more. I turn up the high EQ so the snare can be a little sharper. I do that with snares, claps, and hi-hats if I feel like it needs to stand out a little more. So that's a little trick for you guys. Another trick I use too, when I'm mixing sometimes I pan the master to the right so I can hear. I don't know if you guys can hear this. I hear it in my headphones. I can hear it how it's layered more. You kind of can. It kind of gives you a feel how it really sounds when it's gonna come out the computer when people listen to most of the beats on their computer. Not everybody has quality speakers or studio speakers like we do, so I put it all to one ear so I can kind of hear how everybody else hears it, and I can hear it more stacked, you know? I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's all out one ear. And your headphone, if you have headphones, you probably can hear it more. So yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. All right, so boom. I took out the EQs and the lows that I need. Cool. Next, I have a clap. I actually stacked this. I have a clap. So the clap, I usually like it lower or the same. So let's do this. See, okay, so I looked at the clap EQ. See, look at the clap EQ. There's nothing over here. People always make you like cut out the EQ. There's nothing to cut out. So that's one of those YouTube producers always say, oh, cut out all these EQs or every instrument. No, there's nothing to cut out. Why am I cutting out? Why am I doing extra work? If anything, you can boost this up a little bit so the clap be a little sharper. Next is for the hi-hat. Let's get this hi-hat together. When you're mixing the hi-hat, is a little advice when you're mixing the hi-hat. When you mix the hi-hats, mix it at a low volume. High pitch sounds tend to sound louder when they're high volumes. So you mix it at a low volume so you kind of get more accurate where the volume actually is of the hi-hat. So you probably can't tell, but I just turn my stuff down so I can hear it more. I'm turning this up a little bit so it'll be a little sharper. Almost there, almost there. So here's the brass. Oh, that's loud. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just play the brass, sample, and the hi-hats together. I just want to hear the sound. The brass has lows. The reason I cut out the low EQs for other instruments that I don't need low EQs, I want to make sure the 808s and kicks it's not muddy in the low. I want to make sure they're not muddy in the low, and I want to make sure they be able to punch out. You know what I mean? So let's see. And I'm looking at the we're at 2.5, so we're a little under 3. I'm gonna show you guys how to fix that in a second. Woo! Yeah. Last, but like we have an open hat left. So my open hats is a little trick. I put my open hats, I match with my kick, and just give them kicks a little more punch. So I'm gonna show you how it sounds. I'm gonna mute everything else. I usually like it much lower. Let me see. Like really low. Like I don't even want it to be heard, bro. It's just a little. I want you to tss, so it gets the kick more punch. Makes it sound like the kick is hitting harder. See what I'm saying? Another thing I do too is for things like this hi-hat, open hat. So I pan it a little bit to the right just so everything won't be center. Everything is center is kind of going to sound jammed, smashed up. I put things in the center that needs to be. Everything else I pan it to the left or right just a little bit so everything's just not jammed up together. You know, everything's not in one space. And it's going to sound like it's in the middle. You're not going to even notice in the speakers that it's panned a little bit, but it just helps out with the mix a little bit. Another one, the hi-hats, I put it to the boom, put it to the left a little bit, just 2 points. Anything else? The brass, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna put it 1 to the right, and I'm gonna keep on going. Let's see. Last instrument I have, I need to put up together, is the scratch. I think it's simple. I'm gonna put this real low. I'm gonna put this real low. Let's see. Oh, that's way too loud right now. The scratches to me is considered a perk. For all my perks, they're lower than everything else. I don't even see, as you can see, the open hat's really low and the scratch is really low. So when it comes to order of what's important for me, you have to turn up what you want to hear. I turn up the melody, I turn up the kick and 808 because that's what I want to hear. And the snares are really turned up. All the other things are under all that. So the sample, kick, 808, bass, and the snare are pretty high, you know. The hi-hats and stuff like that is somewhere in the middle, and the perks are below that. So make sure the perks are below all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna loop this part right here. I'm gonna get this scratch where it needs to be at. I like that. All I did was mix with the volume and EQs. That's all I did. Make sure you guys are looking at the master. Look at the master. Look at the master. 3.3. We don't want that master over three. So let's see how the volume goes over 3. So it's at 2.7. That's close, but I would actually probably leave it at 2.7, but tutorial reasons I can't do that to you guys. So what I did is just highlighted all the tracks, and it just needs a little boost. So I'm gonna just pull it down a little bit. I'm pull everything down a little bit. So I'm keeping all my normal volumes where everything is at. I'm just pulling everything down equally a little bit. It was at 0.27. We just need it at 0.3. So I only need a little pull. So let's see where it's at now. Let's see where it's at. 3.6, I'm cool with that. Honestly, I'm gonna push it up just one. I'll push everything up just one and see where it's at. Man, it's at 0.35. I'm comfortable with that. I'm very, very comfortable with that. That's nothing wrong with that for me. Look, you guys, sometimes we get too much into the science of this, and it's not science. It's what sounds good, what feels good. These templates was what feels good. So don't take these. I'm gonna put my screen up a little bit so you guys can see my DBs and everything I'm doing, and how I panned it, and what's you can see what plugins I have on. I have all the basic plugins for the most part, so you don't need all that kind of stuff. They're tricking you, man. They're tricking you. I'll tell you what you guys need. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's all about leveling and where you want your stuff to sit. So really quick recap. First, you start off with your melody. Later, put it around -11 dB. That's where I usually start my tracks, around -11. Kick 808 and bass next. Do those next, because kick and the 808 are the most important part of the song. I mean, you want that to be banging. See where the kick sits and put the 808 under that kick. Next is the bass. You want the bass not to clash with the kick and the 808, but you want it to sit nice. Make sure the kick, 808, and bass are all in mono. That's very important. How to get to mono? Go to the gain. I'll show you right now. Boom. Utility, gain, stereo. Put that thing in mono. I'm going to shut this off now. I don't want to do too much. Boom. But put that thing in mono. That's very important. Next is the clap or the snare. Snare, you want it close to the kick. You want them going side by side. My kick is at 0.95. My snare is at 0.99. And if you're layering it up, I will put the clap under it, but it all depends if you want your snare to lead it or you want the clap to lead it. So that's up to you guys. But have one of them high. The hi-hat, have it a little lower than all that, but mix it at a low volume, because the higher you mix it, the higher it sounds. So mix it at a low volume so you can get this true sound of the hi-hat. And next is the perks. The perks, put under it. Pan them to one side by 1 and 2 and put it under everything. I know that was quick. It seems too easy to be true, but I feel like people are giving it too much thought. You need to work on your leveling. Once you figure out your leveling and where the instruments sit on top of each other, it's like a cake. Don't put too much batter in it. You put in this big beat together like a cake. You want it to sit on top of each other perfectly. So I think that's all. So let's see how this sounds all together. Let's see how. Woo, it sounds solid too. Ooh, drums hitting. So your mix should sound something like that. It should sound something close. The kick should be hitting, everything like that. Now let's put a little master on it and see how it sounds. Let's go. Look, that was a simple master. I didn't even play with the master yet, and that's how good it sounds. Know why it sounds good like that? Because my mix is so solid. That's one of my template masters. That's one of my template masters, and we'll get into that. But you guys, I could teach you more tricks to this mixing and mastering. If you want another mixing and or mastering tutorial, please go to my Beats by Abiade page. Go check out the final product of this beat so you can see how it really sounds, and get my subscribers up to 500 on my type beat page. So my Beats by Abiade type beat page, I just started it. Get that up to 500 subscribers, and I'll drop another mixing and mastering tutorial and go into depth. Today I talked about leveling. Maybe next I'll go into further what you can do with the EQs, or what you can do with the master to make it punch more and stuff like that. So this is another tutorial. If you guys wonder why I did this mixing so fast, because I'm trying to show you guys don't have to take 3 hours and 4 hours and days to mix your stuff. I used to be that guy. I used to mix my stuff for days. You don't have to do that. One beat is not going to make me or break me. I need to put out a lot of beats fast so I can get to a lot of consumers. The more product you have out, the better chance you get to be heard by someone. You guys can get these beats out, get your beat stars going, get your YouTube type beats page going, all that kind of stuff. So I hope you guys learned something from this. I hope you took something from this. This leveling thing, don't copy my volumes, my dBs exactly, but take the concept I took. Start with the main melody at -11 dB. Put the kick higher than it. Put the 808 a little lower. Put the bass in somewhere in the middle. Like, I taught you the concept behind it. So take the concept I taught you. Take the concept of what I taught you and put it in. I told you how to layer it up. Now it's time to do it. You're not going to get it on the first try, but keep on playing with it. Keep on messing with it. Change stuff up and down. You're going to get it. All right. Practice, practice, practice. Only time you can practice is you make more beats and put it out. And don't keep on mixing a beat 1,000 at a time. Mix that beat once, maybe twice. Put it out there. See how it sounds on the computer. And your next beat, make the changes for your next beat. What you're gonna do? If you say, "Oh man, this kicks weren't loud enough," the next beat, boost up the kicks a little more. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and please subscribe. I have new videos coming out. It's holiday season. I hope you guys enjoy this. Make sure you guys go kiss and hug your loved ones. But I'll be back next week, same time, with another YouTube video. Cheers.